Stinky Popcorn Boys.
We watch movies and eat popcorn. And are stinky.
Hello, hello. We are the Stinky Popcorn Boys, just some boys talking about movies and how they made us feel. I am Patrick Basquill, and my favorite thing that I learned this past week was that the inflatable lifeboats on all Navy vessels have motors on them.
Damn you. My name is John Gilardi, and I'm here to tell you that they don't have motors on them. And,
What? We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that section, and
that's our biggest takeaways from this stupid film is we have an inside joke about lifeboats with motor engines.
Nobody goes out to save them. Anyway,
we questionably decided to watch the classic late
2012
movie from Hasbro Entertainment and some production houses who had money for some reason that they wanted to give to this film idea. Battleship, starring Taylor
Kitsch,
Rihanna,
yep.
Jesse Plemons?
Jesse Plemons, a bunch of people.
Liam Neeson's.
Yep.
Rami Malek's in it for 5 seconds.
Rami
randomly.
Malek is an aide to Liam Neeson's.
And then Alexander Skarsgard. And then some gecko people. Oh, and Brooklyn Decker. So she was big. She was big this time of movie making, but she's fallen off.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And I don't want to disparage her, but it was kind of like, and she's put in a bad position where it's like, all right, be hot in these hot and like as like with as a no character, like her character, and like this is a 2012 or I don't know. This is a movie trope for where it's just like hot girl is hot and it also has like sort of like really strong connections with what the male character needs for like, it's like she's the daughter of the general or the colonel or whatever, and it's like,
yeah.
Okay, she just so happens to be that, and it's just like, I don't know. It just feels super. It feels super contrived to be like, oh, wouldn't this be a good story? And then it's like, well, is there maybe a more interesting way that we could have that other than have Brooklyn Decker be like?
Are you saying that this form of storytelling died out?
No,
or this like trope of having this.
I don't think it's
like. Are you saying films are trying to be smarter with their female counterparts / leads?
I think
so. We don't have a Brooklyn Decker going forward because there was many actresses at this time that fit that Brooklyn Decker.
Which also isn't fair because it's not because that's like it's like part of the sort of like the typecasting thing where it's like, well, now we've seen Brooklyn Decker be this character, and so that's the only character that she can be, and it's like, no, Brooklyn Decker has more to offer than be in the late aughts, early teens. Like, I'm the girl and I'm hot, and it's like I'm sure that Brooklyn Decker. Listen, I'm sure she made her money, but
well,
like
she had 80. I know that the show Grace and Frankie. It looks like she had an 82 episode run there. So
hell yeah,
that's good work, solid work for she's fine.
I thought that show was Grace and Frankel because...
Grace and Frankel?
Yeah, but it's Grace and Frankie because it's an I and not an L. But I don't know why I thought it was an L.
I wish it was Frankel.
That's
speaking
what I was
of
like.
actors and like the waves of their career, we got Taylor Kitsch.
Oh, poor
which is
Taylor
an interesting
Kitsch.
one. And we'll talk about the movie, but honestly...
I mean, what is there to talk about this movie? Like,
I like Taylor Kitsch.
I love Taylor Kitsch.
But he had, like you said, he had this one and then John Carter, which was I personally like John Carter. I think it's a cool concept. I think it's an original, like it's one of the original sci-fi stories that everything we saw got ripped off. You know?
Yeah.
And I think it was good enough, but the marketing was so bad.
Well, the name itself.
The name's weird, and then you have the marketing was always it was just some dude with long hair in an arena jumping really high fighting an alien, and it's called John Carter, and you're just like, what what the fuck? I don't.
What is this?
dumb.
What does this
But
fucking mean?
But it's a Civil War general gets transported to Mars and is super powerful, and and then I don't know that alone is all I need personally. It's just like it's a super weird concept, like a 1860s era guy transported to Mars and him trying to comprehend that, you know?
Yeah.
Like I think like someone today being transported to Mars would be weird, very weird, but we know sci-fi, space, all this stuff. We actually have a really good understanding of science relative to random Civil War soldier, you know? And I don't know. Like it's such a good concept. It was marketed terribly. That's a sad one. Battleship. You just shouldn't have been attached to that project in the first place. But he's had good roles. Like he's definitely.
I mean, I think
it
that
could have tanked his career, and he hasn't let it. I'd say.
I think that he's a good actor, and I think that like he had like a chance. Like he had a hot second, and he had a chance. And like when did John Carter come out?
Probably
I think
around this time.
Yeah, I think they came out either the same summer, and that's why I think it's like it's so disappointing. It's got to be so. Yeah, I think they both came out at the same time.
Yep, and that sucks.
And so it's just like two big whiffs, and you're just like not necessarily not allowed to have big whiffs like that, but it's like these were two big whiffs. And like one, John Carter, and they were also two very like different whiffs, where it's like John Carter was like you had said, it's like this movie's not bad. It just, and it's been a minute since I've seen it, so I can't really say super.
Maybe it hasn't aged well, but I enjoyed it when I saw it.
I remember being like, oh nice. Oh, and then also Savages came out the same year.
Yeah, which was a weird movie.
I think isn't that Oliver Stone?
Oliver Stone. It was a weird movie for
Oliver Stone is not my guy.
And it was like trying to be really sexy and cool.
It tried to be really, really sexy, where it was like Aaron Taylor Johnson, Taylor Kitsch, Blake Lively, who could also talk about Aaron Taylor Johnson's weird career, who I really like. But like, it was like they were having like a weird polyamorous thing. They're having a weird.
That's what I mean. Like it felt like,
and
Oliver Stone trying to be cool and sexy, and he's an old man when he's making this.
But then also like, who isn't like Benicio del Toro and Charlize Theron in this? And they're like, no, isn't
like
that
John Travolta too?
Oh, John Travolta.
John Travolta, Selma Hayek, Benicio del Toro, Emil Hirsch.
Hirsch. Yeah, and it's just like
Emil Hirsch is again another weird guy with a career.
They all sort of like operate in the same like level of like they were close. Like if Speed Racer had taken off for Emil Hirsch, do you think like he would have been different?
Maybe, I don't know, because I don't. The thing is, I don't feel
none of these dudes have had bad careers.
Ever had mass appeal potential? You know, I think that always felt like a niche passion project kind of thing, and if you liked it, you liked it.
Yeah.
Also, just interjecting, Alexander Skarsgard looks like a goalie, like a soccer goalie, so well. Like he fits that role so well.
Yeah.
There's like a soccer scene in the movie, and he just looks like a prototypical goalie. But yeah, again, another actor. Speak of like very interesting career. Kind of started, with HBO shows essentially.
Yeah.
And then he's come up and he's really become like I would say almost a star. Like I think he can sell tickets. He has a very fervent following.
He could, but he can't. Like I don't think. I still think that I think that in the upcoming movie, The Northman, I think that that's where he belongs. Making like. I mean, listen, fucking get your money. Like, do your money, do your thing. But I think where, like, he fits best in the ecosystem of, like, acting is making that movie that's, like, weird and he gets to be big and physical. Or in something where he gets to be, like, a soccer goalie.
He's amazing in Generation Kill. I don't know if you've seen that.
I haven't seen it, but I did like him as Eric in True Blood.
Oh, he was good in Big Little Lies and other HBO.
I haven't seen that.
He's in Zoolander.
In the first
remember
Zoolander or the Zoolander 2?
The first one. He's one of the roommates that died in the gas station explosion.
Oh, get out of here. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's one of them. It's pretty cool.
He's he looks like he's a goofy dude. But Taylor Kitsch is really good in why are they playing the soccer game? Anyway.
They got to establish the Japanese connection in the movie.
Yeah.
As always, we're watching these in the background because this is an old movie and because it's on Netflix. We're watching it in real.
But Taylor,
time. What are you saying about Taylor Kitsch?
It's like he was really good in Friday Night Lights, and I've liked him in the stuff that I've liked him in, or the stuff
Survivor.
the stuff that has been good. He has been good in it. Like he's never, which is what makes you see why people were like, oh, this dude could be a star, but he just he just got attached to 3 weird projects in back-to-back years.
I think,
or in
I love
the 1
Sebastian
year.
Stan as the Winter Soldier, but I almost feel like Taylor Kitsch is a more a harder featured, more handsome version of Sebastian Stan, and actually more darker in here. Like Taylor Kitsch has like a darker side to him inherently by just looking at him. I don't know, like he has more sad boy vibes.
Yeah,
which is I don't know.
He can also pull off the comedy
love
better.
it, but yeah, that's
I think
true.
personally. Listen, nothing against Sebastian Stan. He's blown up. He's done his thing. He's killing it. There's also probably something about.
It's an interesting thought.
Well, and I think too, it was like, it's weird because like all the dudes that we've mentioned have sort of like not pinched, but they have like sort of like longer features. Whereas like Sebastian Stan has like big wide eyes, big wide expressive emotional eyes, and Taylor Kitsch sort of like is kind of squinty, where he's just sort of like furrowed, his brow's like sort of furrowed, like, and that feels like it's the vibe. And I feel like that's like kind of the same for Alexander Skarsgård and Emil Hirsch too, in a weird way.
It's like a more weathered face.
Yeah,
but they're still like hot boys at the same time.
Yeah.
But, so what's Battleship about?
Battleship,
obviously based off of the Hasbro board game.
Yeah, obviously.
For those who don't
because
know, it's the game where you
something
are
necessary.
facing off with someone. Yeah, exactly. It's a board game where you're facing off with each other and you're giving coordinates and you can't see where their ships are. It's like, hit, miss, you sunk my battleship.
You sunk
and
it. Oh man.
For some reason, they decided to make a movie about this. I mean, the line is there. We have. I mean, the Transform movies are doing gangbusters. So it makes sense why they're like, let's try this out. And I think this was actually. It's like, why would they make this? Who was thinking this would be a good, like all these different things? And to me, it's like, it's starting to come up in my head. It's like, maybe this was just a gamble. Because they're like, we've been making so much money with these Transform movies. Let's just literally roll the fucking die and see, if it's good, we make billions of dollars,
Yeah, it's definitely a Transformers knockoff. You know?
I mean, it's so much so that it's in a weird place. So the summary of the movie is you have Hopper. He's this like kind of burnt out guy who somehow becomes an officer in the Navy in a very questionably short time.
Yeah, he's 26. He's 26 very early in the movie, and then all of a sudden it's like he's again, like you just said, he's an officer in the Navy. Like unless he was already on that track, I don't know. I don't know much about that. I don't know much about this stuff.
If you have a college degree, you can become an officer. You go to officer school, so it is viable. It's just not established that he is he's college educated or he has a degree. So, and he's such a bum, and they only give you that he's a bum. They don't give you that he went to school or he's wasted potential. They don't give you this at all. So I'm just left to believe that his option was to go in as an enlisted man. But I guess not. I don't know. Anyway, so he's his love interest is the daughter of the admiral, and they're doing these training exercises. He's kind of like, even though he somehow became a captain in the Navy, he's incompetent still, and they do an exercise, like an international military exercise.
Yeah.
And they're like, yo, this is your last time. This is your last mission. You know, we're going to kick you out or something. I don't know. And of course, on this last mission, this last exercise, their aliens attack with seaborne ships, and they're trying to establish communications so that they can bring the rest. So they're kind of essentially fighting off with destroyers these alien ships, so that they can establish communications. And the alien ships are alien ships because this is a movie for mass appeal in children, and you can't have battleships fighting each other.
Yep.
So that's where the disconnect comes. So that's the... Also, as a general rule of thumb, the longer it takes for you to describe a plot, maybe means it's not a good story.
Yeah.
Because I tried to keep that as concise as I could.
You think you did a pretty good job. Because it's like... like, you hit all the beats. Like, that's what it is. And the thing is like, it's really not any more than that. Everything else is like sort of like cheese within it, if that makes sense. Where it's like the whole like Colonel's daughter thing, or, you know, spoiler alert for this shitty 12-year-old, 10-year-old movie, you know, Alexander Skarsgard, like them absolutely getting demolished. And like Taylor Kitsch being kind of an awful commander, just like, and then
he's an awful character.
He's an awful character. But one of the things that really struck me as we were watching this movie is it was like the other people on the boat were like, oh, he's the main character. He's the only one. It's like in a video game. It's like in a video game where they're like, all right, you have to make the decision what we're going to do. And rather than
borderline mutinous decisions, like he was like, I don't know the chain of command or whatever, or how this stuff works, but like his brother was just killed, so he's emotionally compromised and he's sending them on a suicide mission. You know, I think there's a respect to the chain of command, but I think that is.
But also,
let's not
die.
Mutinous. Yeah, but that's a very legitimate like mutinous. Like you're not of clear mind. You're not making good tactical decisions. You're literally going to be throwing away everyone's life. You know.
Yeah. So let's not do that, homie.
So,
like,
to your point, like that didn't feel realistic. You know.
Like
also,
there was a scene.
Invasion, maybe all like doctrine and protocol and all that shit just goes out the window.
I would say that it matters more. I would say that it matters more.
I mean, there should be discipline in the ranks of the U.S. Navy or whatever, so I guess it wouldn't matter. But I don't know.
It would have been a much more interesting movie if Taylor Kitsch and the Japanese dude, instead of fighting in the bathroom, were having sex, like you thought. Because when we initially watched it, didn't you think that? You were like, "Oh, I thought they were doing kisses."
I So there's this. They introduce this Japanese character. I think he's a captain of a destroyer. But there's like a little bitter rivalry between Taylor Kitsch and him because of
he kicks him in the face in the soccer game. That's important for it to be there.
Yeah. So there's a scene where they somehow get into the bathroom together, and they're like, "Fuck you, man, fuck you." And then Jesse Plemons comes he's going to the bathroom, and he sees the head, like he's at the door, and he hears fighting in there. And that's the only that's the only way we're given that there was a fight. And it's a very awkward cut. Like obviously it's
a very awkward cut.
But I wasn't. I was paying attention. I just
and this is a plot hole or stupid thing where it's like if they're fighting in there, and it's like if Jesse Plemons tell on them? Because if they're fighting in there,
he also he like runs away and rats him out.
But you don't. I don't get that sense from him. I get the sense of him like backing away, like, oh, I don't want to be a part of this. But if they fight, they're here in the bathroom, they're fighting. Jesse Plemons backs away. Do they turn themselves in? Like, why do they just not like? They don't look. Either of them don't look too fucked up. Like they both could just be like, hey, dude, we just fought, and now like we've got it out of our system and we can like move on. Unless Jesse Plemons rats on them, but I don't get that sense.
What we're shown, I think him going like, I don't want part of this, running away is what happened. But what's shown to us as editing, pictures associated with each other,
and then we go right to this other thing.
He's ratting out to them, but then there's not a scratch on them, so like they weren't broken up that fast, and it's like I almost like it better that they were like hooking up or something, because that's
what
like,
I'm saying.
Actually, what I'm getting from the Jesse Plemons character, and what I'm getting from them not having any
cuts.
sign of bruising or blood or cuts.
There's like one.
Like,
there's like some like contusion underneath the Japanese guy's eye.
Yeah.
But like also that could be from him getting pressed up against the wall, the bulkhead.
Yeah. Hey,
it's not necessarily.
There's a lot of angles and edges inside.
But also, and this is one of my favorite things. This is, I would say, of things that I like in this movie. One of the things that I like is them. I love whenever the two sort of like this is not a good example. Like Draco Malfoy and Harry Potter, they're getting interrogated by McGonagall, and they just got into a fist fight, and they're both like, "Nah, we're just chilling. I was just helping them up. We're good. It's fine. You don't have to like punish either of us." Like they're that sort of like tacit agreement between foes who aren't like really foes but are foes. They're not like big world foes, but they're like, I don't like you. And it's like, I don't like you. And we're going to fight. But if we're both going to get in trouble, neither of us are going to get in trouble. We're good.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, I really like that in general.
Yeah, that's a fun dynamic. I don't want to expound on it more, but it is something I wish I saw more in Harry Potter, just because that's the example you use. Anyways, there's a weird duo thing, not a super smooth transition, but there's the Jesse
No, you're doing
Plemons,
a great job. I love it.
There's the Jesse Plemons Rihanna like quirky comic relief duo thing.
Yeah,
which is really weird. It's really weird that Rihanna's in this movie.
It's 2012. She's trying to do stuff out, and again, just like Taylor Kitsch is trying to get his career to blow up. Liam Neeson's is continuing to get that bag. And Rihanna's trying to make some money.
Yeah.
And maybe get into movies.
Trying to start a career.
Well, Jesse Plemons was also in Friday Night Lights as a pretty big character. So we've got, and I think this movie was produced or maybe directed by Peter Berg, who was the showrunner for Friday Night Lights?
Yep, Peter Berg, confirmed.
He directed this movie?
Yep.
Which is too bad because he has done some pretty good stuff, but this is not one of them, Peter Berg. And I feel like
it's just objectively bad on so many levels.
I just wonder if this movie was...
It's not even the concept that hurts it. It's just,
I wonder if the movie was edited all to hell. I mean, I'm sure it was, but like... I don't know. It's like, it definitely feels...
Well, it could have been, because I'm looking at Peter Berg's filmography.
I'm too now.
He also did the story of Rihanna. He did a Rihanna documentary, so there comes that connection. Anyways.
Wait, when did he do that? Was that before this movie?
When? It is not dated. But it's the story of Rihanna. Untitled Rihanna documentary. Anyways. Like, all his stuff is pretty seriously toned. I don't know, Friday Night Lights has a very, like, melodramatic, serious tone.
Lone Survivor.
I don't know what Mile 22 is, but Deepwater Horizon, that's a good movie. Hancock has some levity, but it's still, I don't know, like, I think this was his most, like, kid-friendly mass market appeal. And then you have the weird combo of it being very, kind of, like, very military.
Yeah.
Obviously it was.
It definitely feels like
to be filming all the battleships and like in the naval bases.
Yeah.
You know, there's obviously a lot of like, okay, you can do this, but you know, you got to hit on these things, and you know, for recruitment and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there's like weird stuff in this. Like there's the double amputee character, which is cool that I'm guessing this guy is a real veteran, and those are wounds he got in combat or in action.
Yeah.
But it's just he's not a good actor.
Well,
and it's a huge Hollywood blockbuster film, and then also so that like that's I don't know where the angle is there. Besides giving someone a cool opportunity that, you know, who's sacrificed a lot. But then on the other flip side, they tie in the Navy vets in the finale. Because
that's super cringy. And again, not like a bad thing, but it's just like a weird cringe. This movie feels like he needed.
Feels like a parody.
Yeah. Did he produce this too?
Yeah. But yeah, to like elaborate on that. So there's one battleship left, and they're going and going, and they have a skeleton crew of like American and some Japanese crewmen that they picked up from their sunken ship.
Yeah.
And it's just a skeleton crew left on the destroyer, and I think they limp back to base. Or no, the destroyer gets sunk, and they get picked up by the lifeboats, which we'll discuss later. And they go back, and there's like no battleships because everyone went out to sea for this military exercise, and they're closed off outside of this dome that the aliens made. And so what's left is the retired battleship, the Missouri. And so they get on it, and like, dang, we don't have a crew. And then cut to in a golden hour, beautiful sunset shot of just a bunch of old men walking, all proud. And it's like, oh, okay.
Then we've got a random shot, and
they're about to team up with the vets, and it's weird.
There's like some dudes who are just like standing up on the top crow's nest. That's not right, but like they're like all over. Like they've just been living on this boat, and it's just like, what? Why?
They were ready to answer the call, I guess. It's just very weird and contrived, and I don't recommend this movie in the slightest under any circumstances, but I almost recommend it. I definitely recommend it as a bad movie to watch with friends. I don't think that it's cohesive enough to really make it that. And the thing is there's no. I don't think cohesion's a requisite for.
Yeah, that's true. But I think. But I think what I mean is like at the. Yeah, sorry. Finish your thought.
But that's just to finish what I was saying, that I almost recommend this movie just to hit that moment because it is so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Where the vets come and save the day on the battleship, and the first one they reveal is a guy squatting up in a crow's nest far away, and it's just so unnatural. The whole I mean, obviously it's a fiction, but it pushes like the feasibility that you see in comic books almost. Like comic books are inherently ridiculous and fun and fine, but this like is even more ridiculous.
Yeah.
In terms of the little things it sets up. So what were you saying?
No. Well, first of all, there's like a random shot. It looks like a vet, like an amputee vet is playing like Flappy Bird or something. He's playing some sort of video game on his phone that's just like, why is he doing that? And then our double amputee, like star vet, is like, I mean, it's great, but I wish that again they kind of like have him be like, there's times later on in the movie where just the decision making of the characters is strange, where like on the boat they have the lieutenant be like, Taylor Kitsch, we need you to tell us what to do or we're gonna die. And it's like, tell us what to do. And it's like, you know what to do. Don't listen to this man who is very sad and shouldn't be a part of this. Please move on. Like, you know what to do. Take some command. Make him come. Don't force greatness on him. Make him come to being the hero, you know? And that's the same thing later on with our vet, is like, yeah, the vet is like, I'm gonna go stop him, and yeah, he's a bad actor, but I'm not gonna like. I think it's pretty cool. It's like good. I wish that they had set him. For me, whenever I see someone giving like a bad performance who's clearly like a non-actor, it's like, well, then they didn't put them in a position to succeed. If you can tell.
Exactly. I was going to finish your words.
Because that's the director's job. That's the editing people's job, is to not make people stand out, and to like to not put people in a position to not look good, I mean, and not that he doesn't look good.
All his lines of dialogue are looking to pull from a very emotional spot. And
yeah,
I don't know. It's just not done smart.
Yeah, but
and
then
there's tons of movies that have used non-actors in the past, like Academy Award-winning films, like amazing films where the lead, that was the only thing they ever did because they weren't an actor,
yeah.
So it's
and also
it can be done.
Then just to sort of like close that off is like her, like he is used to then like motivate her to do the thing, or motivate the scientist to do the thing. Like he's like, you better do the thing, and the scientist is like, oh, I don't want to do the thing, and he's like, gruff, 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 gruff. And it's like, I guess I'll do the thing then. And
he's also one-dimensional in how he performs. Like it's just like I don't know. Like he seems angry with the world.
There's one sequence,
and that's it.
which is
fair.
Which is fair, yeah. But there's one sequence. There's one sequence that is worth watching this whole movie, and I wish that they had kept this energy for the whole thing. If nothing else, it's a great skit or sketch. Is when I'm gonna take it back to the very beginning. The very beginning. If you guys have seen Midnight Mass, if anybody out there has seen Midnight Mass, Father Paul is like one of the like second in command scientists, and in the very opening of the movie, he's like. They're like setting up that they're gonna make contact. They're like setting up satellite arrays so that they can make contact with people or something. It's very sort of like contrived and feels weird as far as a setup.
Well,
like
the science element isn't brought in.
The science,
besides the one character who was there, is like, it was a bad idea, and then he's just.
But
like,
he says it's a bad idea, and it's like, why is it a bad idea? Is it Independence Day where he's been abducted before, or is he just like a paranoid guy? And it doesn't make sense as to why he would be why he would think it's a bad idea. But so anyway, he's a scientist, and then he gets put in Hawaii. And so main scientist dude, who's also one of those sort of like, I recognize this guy actors.
Yeah.
I can't think of what else he would be in.
He's probably the best bit in the movies when they're passing him off to the experts.
But that's what I'm saying. Is like, this is the best. That's the best sequence, is whenever they're like, hey, guess what? This is coming. He's like, what? Well, we need to talk. We need to notify NASA. And they're like, they're on the line. And again, it's just worth seeing it for that one segment. He's like, well, we need to tell the FBI or whatever. It's like, they're on the line, and they cut over to like a room full of people looking at him, and it's just fucking great stuff. It's really good. And that would be my shining moment of this movie.
Yeah, I remember. I mean, that's that. As you said that, I think it was you and the other guy we were watching. We're like, "Hey, this is good. Actually, I'm about it." But Turtle's in this too. From, Honor Rush.
Right. But just for like,
I remember.
a second.
Yeah, I remember seeing an interview or something like, "Yeah, I'm just trying to bust out of my roles here from being Turtle," and it's like, and I remember being this, and I'm like, "Oh, this is what you were. This is not. Oh man, I'm sorry."
It's funny. Because if you look at Kevin Dillon's career, Johnny Drama, Vince's brother in Entourage, Johnny Drama or Kevin Dillon has exactly the career that I imagined Dronny Drama was going to get. You know? Like, he's in, like, straight to, like, VOD movies where he plays a cop or he plays a bad guy. And, like, he is, like, has kind of big or starring roles in them. But those are the movies that he gets, you know? And it's like, yeah, that makes sense. That feels good.
Yeah.
Like, that, and it feels weird because it's like, oh, Kevin Dillon is just Dronny Drama. Because they're it's the same.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so this Battleship, huh? Battleship.
Like, I guess more in the weirdness of the movie again, and it's the question is, do you make a movie about a board game based off of war, you know? And then, like, I think that's not a bad line. It's like, okay, cool battleship. Let's just, like, fun battleship action. Fuck it, why not? You know?
Yeah.
But then it's made to appeal to the mass market and kids, which means you can't have war. You want to distribute this overseas, so you can't really
blow up the
be
battle.
nations.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
can't blow up Buddha
Chinese or Russian battleships. And
gotta have co-ops.
And it's just like, okay, so who are the bad guys? Aliens. And who are the aliens?
Perfect.
They're aliens that are very Transformer-like. And
perfect.
And then it just feels like a bad rip-off of Transformers. And then it's not even creative you know. I think what they should have done,
rewrite it,
is that an alien force invaded that's kind of some kind of mimic alien force, you know, like it's extremely intelligent, but it doesn't have a form. Like, it has no concept of what it should be, but it mimics itself to be in the environment or something like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
so then maybe that's why you have the battleship on Battleship, and it's like real battleships, and we can have big battles and stuff, because they do the ultimately annoying thing is where they muster up everyone.
Yeah.
And then it's just really boring small scale combat with really weird pacing. And then this movie, they establish a really weird recurring trope of the aliens not engaging in immediate threats. So when the battleships are idle, they're not
or
fighting.
like
them.
organic threats or something.
Yeah, it's very weird, and it doesn't come around and doesn't mean anything. Like, it doesn't. I don't know what it just doesn't come around. So it's literally just a plot device to get in and out of situations.
Yeah, it's a strange thing. Here's what I thought they were gonna do, and what I hoped that they were gonna do, because it feels like this made sense with the sort of not the concept, but the idea of it was like when they threw up that like big bubble thing, they're like, well, we can't go through it, but if we fucking, because they have the alien metal that's like a new metal. It's like, well, if we make these weapons out of their new metal, then we can fire through the thing. But then I guess they also need to be rudderless, like they need to not be moving. But either way, it's like I feel like there's something more interesting there, where it's like, interesting in that it's closer to what is to like what is closer to the game, where it's like it's, and I understand what because eventually how they get to having a grid system is apparently Hawaii has a buoys placed. They have buoys placed for tsunami warning system, which is like, yeah, great, awesome. But they were able to like link all of the buoys and then track the movement of the ships based off of that, which is fine. I don't know, man. It was just it was like, okay, this is how we're doing it. I don't know. It was just an interesting vibe.
Yeah.
Where it was just like, I feel like we could have, like when they put up the dome, I was like, okay, that's how we're going to do it. they're gonna have to fire in through the ship, fire in that way. But then they didn't do that, John.
Yeah, it's like I don't know if like you needed to replicate features of the game. Like I think that was cute if it was done well.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. It wasn't fun to watch.
Yeah.
It was just Tomahawk missiles being fired at into the fog with these symbols, and they're just guessing, and like, which isn't. I guess that is Battleship, But in Battleship, it's surgical precision guessing. This was just guessing in an open space.
It's just timing.
And then they tied in the alien projectiles, like what they shoot out of their cannons, are the fucking pegs.
They're the
from
pegs,
Battleship,
which I like.
Just dumb.
It's dumb, but I respect the hustle to like.
Well, they made it interesting. Like they made it interesting. Like the peg lands in the ship, and then it like kind of, it's fine. As much as I am shitting on it.
Yeah,
I agree. I think it's a pretty creative solution.
I think that one bothers me less.
Aliens.
Yeah. That one bothers me less, but it's also like, I think that if that had gone along with other things, it would have been cool. But because it was like kind of like by itself, it made it sort of like. It didn't work. Yeah. But I don't think that that's like that's so stupid for me personally. But I think yeah.
I know. I think I fixed the movie right there. Is you're right, Taylor Kitsch's character better, and the aliens are some kind of mimic race, and they mimic the battleships. And to me, it's not like that's like a crazy deep idea. Like I wonder if that was on the table for them or something at some point, because that's how to me that is the very like it didn't have to dig deep. Like that seems to be the obvious solution to like having battleship on battleship, because the aliens are unsatisfying. Like they're like humanoid gecko people, which is weird. They're not explored or understood.
Nothing.
Like they're an invasion force. They're trying to establish communication because the humans showed that there was a communications relay powerful enough to call back to their allies, and it's just so bizarre. The aliens they're sensitive to light. There's like this big revelation moment where Jesse Plemons is like trying on an alien helmet to see.
And he's like, it's like sunglasses.
Yeah, that's it. And then he's like, I got pet geckos too, and they don't like light. And then they're just gecko aliens from then on out. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you could be like, hey guys, you guys are putting an awful lot of energy and thought into ripping this fun blockbuster movie apart, but I don't think so, because it's not even fun because of its faults. Like I love a good blow 'em up alien invasion movie, but it feels like they tried to do all of them and then made no decisions on any of them. Like it just feels like. And again, this isn't like you can make a good war propaganda movie. Like if that's like sort of the intent of this, to show how badass the Navy is, like you could do a better job.
It didn't make like the most like hell yeah rah rah was when they had all the ships going in convoy at the beginning of the rim pack thing. Yeah, like fuck yeah, that's cool. So like, and then like, it doesn't have to be a patriotic American thing, because it's an international fleet. So if you have like an international fleet coordinating in full against a also opposite alien race, alien fleet, naval fleet, then that's sick. It's like, look at us, go humans, go international camaraderie and working together and shit,
But it's just a small invading force. It's not even
yeah. And then it's in the international camaraderie thing doesn't even hit home really.
Yeah.
With the Japanese and U.S. ship, it just feels like
well, because
there's nothing there, even with their little rivalry thing. It just doesn't do it.
Well, and it's also because Taylor Kitsch is a bad commander, and it's his fault that the other two ships get taken out. Really,
yeah. Well,
more or less.
Because there's 2 U.S., 1 Japanese, 1 U.S. ship just gets murked, and then so after that happens, Taylor Kitsch has control. He's like, I'm going in. Fuck it, my brother died. Emotional, and the Japanese ship's like, oh fuck.
Please don't do this.
Support him. This guy's an idiot, but we're gonna support him because we're a good teammate. We're whatever, and they pay the price for it.
Yeah,
and their ship gets fucked, and he's mad at him, but like he should be way more mad, I guess, and that should be a drama, and like he should have to earn his respect. And it's also like, you're a captain here, like fuck you, and like Taylor Kitsch does like give the Japanese captain control because he knows he's more competent. It's just the movie's a mess. I'm trying to like make sense and back and forth explain it, but it's almost exhausting. It's like I just like stopped myself. I was like, I'm good. All right, so Patrick's his recorder died. There's no extra batteries. So I believe we got about 45 minutes in. So I'm going to close it off. We didn't add a whole lot to about the 5 to 6 minutes that we recorded before we realized that his thing had died. But pretty much kind of what we're just getting at was like almost this movie's a little fatiguing to talk about because it's just so bad. There's so many things. And it's not that it's that bad. It's that there's so much to talk about it being bad, so much weird opportunities, so many weird things, so many ways it could have been better. So many actors in it with weird moments, the premise, the tie-ins, the adaptations, all these different things. And I love to expand on whatever we left on. If we're in the middle of a thought, I apologize. I don't have an ability to easily go back and check right now. So I'm just going to close it off with that. But also I will give you guys our final scores of the movies. I gave it a 1.5 stars, purely based off of the fact that it's fun to watch with friends because it's a good bad or a bad good. I think good bad is the order of words that reflects what this really is. And then Patrick gave it 2 stars. He didn't have time to expand on that because that's when he realized his thing was dead. So that is kind of the Battleship in closing. We had watched this when we were on the road shooting a documentary. Sometimes we'd like to do the big things that come out, but stuff like this is also fun. Obviously, because with Stinky Popcorn Boys, we kind of want it to be almost a book club, movie club, where we talk about whatever, And I think that's something fun that we do, is that we're not beholden to being trendy, or we're not trying to grow this to be some big thing. We're just having fun covering movies we want to see. But it's not that we wanted to see this. But we did. I don't know. Whatever. I think you can pick up what I'm implying there. But that was this episode of Stinky Popcorn Boys. Episode 96, 97, 98. One of those. It's hard to keep track. And hope you guys enjoyed it. We hope you maybe want to go see it with friends. Like I said, I think it's going to be fun with others. But don't ever watch this alone. This is not an airplane movie. This does not deserve any time in that capacity. This is hanging out with friends, bored, and you don't want to think hard about what to watch kind of movie. That's the review here of Battleship. And thank you for listening. Rate and subscribe and do all that good stuff. You can rate on Spotify now, so please do that. That's super helpful. I say that, and as for as I earlier said, we're not very interested in growing this thing, but we do want to grow. We do want an audience. We're not trying to make bank here, but it would be fun to garner an audience and grow that. We love our audience now, but I guess we don't want to be complacent. We want to keep growing, have that big community, of like-minded film watchers and critics and whatnot. And then also check out the shirts, Stinky Popcorn Boys shirts at jtmerch.com. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. And, Patrick usually does this, so I'll do my best. But as they say in the Navy, I sunk your battleship, mate. All right, later.